Has Finn Balor's WWE career been a failure? Let's talk about it. Yo, what is good guys, back here with another YouTube video, and in case you cannot tell by the title below, this video will be a video where I share my honest thoughts and opinions on someone or something going on in this wacky weird world of pro wrestling. As you can tell by the title below, this video will be a video where I share my initial thoughts on if Finn Balor, who has kind of been in the news, wrestling news that is, recently, has his career in WWE been a failure. Before I share my thoughts and opinions, feel free to let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comments below. While you are down there, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would mean a lot to myself if you did share your thoughts on Balor and if he's been a failure in the WWE. And for myself personally, I had little to no idea who Balor was during his time pre-WWE kind of deal. So from when he made his in-ring debut back in, I think Wikipedia said 2001, up until 2014, had no idea who he was. Then he came to WWE, again, I think in 2014, has been with them since, and whatnot, whether it's in NXT, on Raw, or on SmackDown kind of deal. So once he signed with the WWE, made his television kind of debut, part of NXT back in 2014, I had little to no expectation for Finn Balor, like, just based off what other people's tweets primarily were talking about. They were excited, which kind of got me excited, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no excitement, 10 being over the moon, I was like a 5.1 kind of deal. Slightly excited about it because, again, from what I had seen online, people were hyped about him, like, going to WWE or at least NXT at that time. His first run in NXT, just based off my memory, was good, or at least good enough kind of deal and whatnot. Then eventually moved to Raw or SmackDown. I think it was Raw back in the summer-ish of 2016. Within the first like month or so, he got a clean win over Roman Reigns, and he won the Universal Championship. All within the first like month and a bit of his in-ring main roster debut on Raw. But when he won the Universal Championship, at SummerSlam 2016, he messed up his shoulder kind of deal and whatnot, and was out until like after WrestleMania 2017 kind of deal. And his career on the main roster, I don't want to say it sucked, but when he went back down to NXT in the fall of 2019, it was definitely a refresher kind of deal and whatnot. Spent some time in NXT, roughly year and a half, 2 years, then got called back up, called over, depending on which way you would want to look at it, back to the main roster, and has been on it since, and kind of deal and whatnot. And yeah, for myself personally, for somebody that had little to no expectation on his career in WWE, I personally would not call it a failure. Might have been a disappointment, and I'll get to that in a second. But he's a 2-time NXT champion, Universal champion. He has won the Intercontinental Championship at least twice, and for sure the US Championship kind of deal. So I personally, just based off that, would not call it a failure. Would I call his main roster runs, whether it was 2016 to 2019 or 2021 till now or recently, a failure? No. Would I call it a disappointment? Yeah, but it's more of a disappointment in comparison to his runs down in NXT, because both runs on the black and gold brand when he was there, I really liked more so the second one than the first one for myself personally, and whatnot, but I still enjoyed his runs more so on NXT than Raw and SmackDown. And I know that he is definitely had more of a career behind him than a career in front of him, but whatever he does now, kind of going forward, kind of deal, he would be a good, like, more so a good player coach kind of deal, like somebody who you can have a match with that his opponent would learn a lot from kind of deal, if that makes any sort of sense and whatnot. And if he decides tomorrow morning, hey, I'm done being a professional wrestler, I'm going to do this career kind of deal, I would say one, good, not necessarily good, but I don't mean like good, his career is done, I don't like him. It's good, you're what, like 40-ish years old, and hopefully he has more of a life outside of wrestling in front of him, like a quote-unquote real life in front of him than behind him, and he can go live that kind of deal and not have to really worry about wrestling. But it's also one of those things where I, being selfish, would want to see him wrestle in person again and hopefully meet him kind of deal, because he seems like a very, very nice, or at least nice enough person to meet and whatnot, for just based off the experience I know a couple of people have had throughout the years and whatnot. But either way, when it comes to Finn Balor, has his career been a failure? For myself personally, no. Disappointment depends on kind of which run you're talking about. His NXT run, for myself personally, it has not been a disappointment. His career on the main roster, again, he has been a multiple-time champion on the main roster, so not a full-blown disappointment, but it's like, oh shucks, I wish that he had more, or a better run on the main roster than that he has had and whatnot. But either way, that is it for my thoughts on if Finn Balor has been a failure. Would love to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. While you are down there, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would mean a lot to myself if you did. More importantly than doing any of that, hope you guys are doing okay mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The world that we tend to make up is nothing but a fantasy until you wake up. I feel like I'm just lying to myself, yeah. Cause I just crossed the line like I'm playing offside. Do it how I want and I'ma do it till I die. Feel like I'm just lying to myself, but it's